There's so many times. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think of a good story. I mean, I'm generally quite a happy person anyway, you know, so I can always find moments of happiness. But a specific time, I guess there's a time when I was a kid and we were in Kenya and I was in a forest and near my grandparents' plantation, and me and my brother were hiding in the forest, and in this forest it was quite dangerous because there would always be these huge porcupines with big needles, and like, so you'd be like hiding in the bushes trying to hide from them, and then we saw some gazelles, you know, just run past, and that kind of innocent kind of happiness, you know, beauty in nature, you know, yeah, moments like that. And then there's moments of like happiness with love. You know, when you meet someone or you see someone and you feel like, oh, okay, this is something else. So, God, that's a really hard question. I just find that so difficult because it's just so many things. It's not just one thing, it's everything, really. But it sounds so corny when you say it like that. It's like such an overused word, but it kind of is. It applies to everything, and you can see it in every moment if you want to. So yeah, love is expansive. That's what I would say. Being an artist, you know, it's kind of about freedom. You know, you're free to think where you want to or think outside the box. For me, I love to invent concepts and ideas, even since I was a kid. You know, I always felt like I was more philosopher, inventor. I love to think about the ways that we see things. So I feel like I'm here to change people's perceptions of things and to work on our ways of seeing, because I think one of the main issues in the world today is that we're stuck in a very fixed mind, intellectual Western way of looking at things, which cuts us off from nature, our true selves. And so I feel like my job is to kind of bring that back. So yeah, for me, being an artist, yeah, it's definitely freedom. It's connected to travel, to meeting people from all over the world, you know. It's like inner travel and outer travel. So, yeah. Painful. Yeah. I mean, there's levels of pain that come in different ways. Heartbreak is really painful, you know, and also grief as well. My mother died when I was 17, and it's not like just the grief from then, it's like not having the relationship later throughout your life. But because, like I was saying, I understand and have a connection to something bigger, you know, that's really helped that. But yeah, grief is, yeah, there's different forms of grief, different losses, and I would say obviously losing your own mother, that's like a fundamental thing, you know, feeling lost, feeling abandoned, feeling you're afraid for your own security, you know, feeling a fear of not existing, you know, it's really, yeah. And in that time as well, so that happened when I was 17, and I was focusing on studying as well, and I had this double life of being in college and trying to, you know, boys, friends, work, homework, and then at the same time going home and, helping my mom and like really living like this double life and not really talking about it to anyone until really the last few months. I think I told 1 or 2 friends. And then after that, after my mum died, we took her to Kenya, her body and stuff, but I was still studying in England, so I was in England and I was staying in the house, and that was really weird, because a teenager in a house anyway, alone, you get up to all sorts, but like when you've been through all these experiences in your own house, of illness and, things like that, that was a hard summer, I have to say. Like of many different contrasts, because it's also a coming of age period where you're learning, it was the first time I went to Glastonbury Festival. It was the first time, I made out with a certain type of guy, So some of the best things happened, at the same time the worst things were happening as well. And also River Phoenix died the same year, and that really fucked my head up as well, because he had really been a real hero to me, let's say, in his life and his struggles, and it really, the 2 deaths together were like, it's all intermingled. Even my love of film is all intermingled into this whole thing as well, because me and my mum, one of the things we would love to do is watch films together, like The Last Emperor, and so that whole period is like a soundtrack. The emotions are like a soundtrack to this life movie that's going on. And then, that was a difficult period. And then, other difficult periods, a few years later, like the first real boy that you fall in love with, we met in Prague, and he was Dutch, and we had like a relationship because he was living in Amsterdam and I was studying textiles in England, so we'd go back and forth, and then I moved to Amsterdam for a few months, and then during our relationship his dad got ill with cancer and died, and this really, this was too much. Not just for me, for him. I was still grieving. I hadn't even begun dealing with my own mum's grief, and then this, and it was really, death, love, sex, everything together, and then 10 years later we tried to get back together. We met up, but one of the sticking points was still that for him, even though he'd obviously moved on and stuff in his thinking, was that I still reminded him of that pain. And I think it was because of different ways of healing, because I had dealt with mine through counselling and meditation and yoga and believing in something bigger, and he was like a science brain, so he'd gone down that route. And so it was like a division of beliefs, and the beliefs, your beliefs can help you heal, or they can stop you from healing, and so I think for me, art and film and creativity and travel, that's all helped me, try to make life into a bigger picture for myself. And so I see grief is just part of life. It's just, everyone's going to die, I'm going to die, and you kind of have to accept that. I mean, I think it's actually harder to accept that you're going to get old and you're going to get ill and your body's going to stop functioning in a different way. That's harder for me to accept, in a sense. But death, it's normal, so it's like, it's hard to explain if you want to convey it to people, but I still feel very connected to my mom. I still feel connected to his dad, I still feel connected to River, I feel very expansive, when we were talking about love earlier, that's how I feel about, people who have died. I feel, they're part of our lives still, you know, and that helps me. And, you know, some people say, oh, it's wishful thinking, but if it helps me, who cares? You know, if it helps make me a happier person, you know, and gives me a good focus, I don't, you know, why not? So, yes. Ooh. Oh. Hold on, it's going to be a roller coaster. The things that you want probably won't work out. Things that you don't care about do work out. And you can't plan it. You can't think, you know, like I know I wouldn't have become an artist. Well, probably not if my mom had lived. There was something in the fact that she died at that age when you're just deciding what to do with your life, to go to university. It was like a fulcrum. I mean, it changed everything. Because before then, I just wanted to go travelling, you know, and after then, I don't know, something happened where I was like, oh, it's hard to explain it. I mean, it's not a logical process, but it felt like a path opened up that wasn't there before. And that path is my life. And that will happen to you. You know, you will end up somewhere where you don't expect to. I didn't expect to end up in Los Angeles, you know, being interviewed for this show. You know, so it will all work out, but you can't plan it, and you can't even have an idea of it. You've got to have faith. And it's easy to say that, obviously, when you look back, you know, but it's the truth. Yeah.